Okay, to start a one-point drawing of the back of this room, I need to draw the back wall. First, I think I need to decide whether I'm going to go horizontal or vertical, right? And I noticed that the camera was turned to the side when it took this photograph. So I think I'm going to turn my paper at the very beginning of the drawing to a vertical format so that I can get this big arched window in there. That's really kind of the most interesting aspect, wouldn't you say, of the room. I need to have room out front to draw the desks, and I need to have room up above to draw that big window. So I guess I'm going to put right about in the middle, maybe just up above the middle. I'm going to put the back wall of that room. Now, the back wall here, it seems, is about 10 feet. If we were in the room, I could show you that more clearly, but I'm coming down about a third of the way from the top of my paper, and I'm making a line, and I'm making a box in there that I think is going to be the back of the room. But now I need to change that box. I need to edit it so that I can actually get the proper proportion in there, right? So I know that this is going to be 10 feet. I'm going to move it over just a little bit so that that's going to be my actual corner of the room. And then I want to say, if that's 10 feet high, I'm going to take my pencil this way. I'm going to pinch it. And I know this is going to be 10 feet this distance. So I'm going to put a little mark there and say this is going to be 10. This is going to be 10. That makes this 20. And 30 would be clear over to here. This says right here, it's 25.5 feet wide from here to there, right? So this is the window that we're looking at, and this is the smaller window that we're looking at here. That says it's 3 by 3, 1 foot and 4 inches below the soffit, and this says the window is 12 wide by 6 feet 4 inches high, and it's 1 foot below the soffit. Good to know. All right, so I've got 25 feet there. So halfway between this 20 and this 30, I'm going to say that's 25. And that's going to be the end of my wall. So now I have a 10 by 25 foot room. You can still see the light spots here where I modified my drawing. That's okay. I see that there's an overhanging soffit in between the ceiling and the window. So I'm saying 10 feet is up to the bottom of the soffit. And then there's about 5 feet. So I'm going to take this 10 feet here. I'm going to put 10 feet up this direction. I'm going to divide that in half so that I've got 15 feet here. This is going to be 20. And I feel like the area up on top of that window is going to be another 10 feet. So I'm going to go up to 25 feet there. I'm going to take another 5 feet, put it up on top. So now I've got 25. This here at the 15 foot is the soffit that goes across. This comes up, and then this window arches down like this. So that's my setup for the back wall. I've left half of my paper still down at the bottom so that I can draw desks down in here. I've got a little measuring tape along all of that. So I've got 25, 20, 15, 10. I know halfway between 10 and 0 is 5 feet. It's pretty important because that's my horizon line. So draw a line across 5 feet all the way to the edge of the paper for your horizon line. I now need to determine a vanishing point. Should I put it right in the middle or should I put it over to the edge? Let's draw the windows in and see where we think a nice vanishing point might be. It said that there was a 3 by 3 foot window that came 1 foot down. So this is 5, this is 2.5. So this is going to be 8, 9, 10, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Halfway between 5 and the floor is 2.5. So I'm going to make a 2 and a 3 and a 1 and a 4. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The big window is about a foot down, so at 9 feet, I want to make the big window come over here. I think it's about 3 feet over from the wall as well. So if I come here and put a 5, I can get 2.5 and 3. So that window is going to sit right about here. Comes a little lower than the other windows. So it's going to be down here. And the bottom of the window comes to 5 feet. So I'm going to go 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to go 5 to 8 on that window. I'm not going to worry about 3 inches on it. So the height of the window goes from 5 feet up to 8 feet. And the width of the window comes in here from 3 feet. So there's 3 feet here, 1, 2, 3. And then it's 3 feet wide. So it's going to come 4, 5, 6. It's going to come into here. I feel like there's about 2.5 between that. So 7, 8, about 9 feet is where I want to start my next window. The height of that window goes from 9 feet down to about 2, 2.5. Put it at 2.5 feet. So that's right here. I want that to come over about 3 feet into the room too. So I'm going to come back on this to about here with that window. Notice I changed it. See how I had this line here? I thought it was right. This line actually is bending, so I could make that a little better before I lock it in. All right, so these are my windows. I think I'm going to put my vanishing point pretty much in the middle. So I'm going to come right about to, I don't know, 14 or 15 feet. Give myself a vanishing point right here. My next step, of course, is to draw from here to the corner of the floor and on out to the edge of the paper, and here to the corner of the floor and on out to the edge of the paper. I'm going to actually do this several times because I want to get it drawn out from this corner where I see the soffit. I want to get it drawn out from this corner at the top of the soffit as well. I probably am going to want to draw it clear out of here, out of the 25 too, right? Or at least I'm going to put my pencil here at the 25 and I'm going to draw away from that vanishing point this direction. So this is where I see the edge of the ceiling. Here I'm seeing an edge. Now the soffit comes out into the room just a little bit. There's a pillar in either corner. So come in 2 feet on either side and draw a pillar on the right side and draw a pillar on the left side. About the right proportion for those pillars. Now I'm going to come from my vanishing point to the corner of that pillar and I'm going to come out in this direction just a little bit so I can show the underhanging of that soffit that I see. So I'm going to come out from that point, I'm going to come out from this point, I'm going to come into the room just a little bit and draw the footprint of that pillar very thin. I know it's not going to be very wide. I'm just sketching here, but still I'm estimating that that's going to be very narrow. So that pillar is going to do this on this side. It's going to go up here. I'm going to see an overhang right here. This one's going to come up here and over. So this is the front of the pillar. This is the side of the pillar in here. The front of the pillar here is going to go horizontally, and then I'm going to have a horizontal line that shows the overhang of that soffit. Right? So now the soffit comes out this way and across the pillar and then up. So that it's going to be a little bit wider out here than it is at the back of the room, because I see it coming towards me. That light's probably confusing you a little bit. This actually needs to come in this way. Lighten this line a little bit. So now you're not seeing through the pillar so much. I don't want to erase that one too much. Maybe I want to use a kneaded eraser for that, so that I'm not erasing the entire line over here. I just want to do a little bit. I'm rolling that around so that I still have my measuring tape along the side there. I'm going to come in from these corners and make these windows a little bit dimensional. As I come the corners towards the vanishing point, and I put in another line here and here. If you don't put these details in with me today in class, you can do this as homework, of course. This one, I'm not going to see this inside edge, am I? I'm just going to see, actually not going to see this top either. So I'm going to see this on that window. If I want to draw the shades in there, I can draw this shade coming halfway down. Halfway through the window, there's a couple of shades in there. I'm not going to close this one all the way. I'm just going to go like that. This is glass. And up here I know there's glass too. I'm going to do some details up there. Those of you who are caught up can do these details with me. Those of you who are not, continue working on the back to get your things in place. I notice one pillar comes right about over the middle of here. And I notice that the other pillar is about halfway from there to this side. There's a pillar that I don't see because it's under the light in the photograph, but I'm going to go halfway between here and here, and I'm going to put that pillar line in there. I see another line inside of here that the pillar is attached to, so I'm going to draw this line coming down like this. I'm going to give myself a little half circle here, here, and here for pillars to come down. I don't see them attaching at the bottom, of course, because it's way above my eye level. Again, if you're not caught up, don't do pillars until later. We're just working on details, so those of you who need to get that back wall lined up can get that lined up. Right? So up in here, I have an arched ceiling. So these boards are all going to come out from the vanishing point, basically. By the time they get here, they're going to be straight up and down, right? Then they're going to bend this way a little bit as they go off towards that way. So each one of these should be aimed towards, if I wanted to put something up here on the ceiling, I can draw those lines going off that way. There's lights up above my head. If I wanted to project the lights in next, I notice that one light connects down here right below this pillar. So I'm going to draw in front of the soffit a horizontal line right here. And then my vanishing point's a little bit different, it looks like, because if I draw to this side of that line and this side of that line, I'm going to get a light coming out like this. Into the room, right? Then I'm going to draw a line across. And then the next line I'm going to make sure is wider than that. And the next line I'm going to make a little wider than that. And the next line I want to be even wider than that. So that as I work my way out towards here, I'm going to take my eraser and clear out some of the stuff underneath so you can tell what you're seeing. This is a representation of the light fixture. The other light fixtures clear over here. So I'm going to draw that off this direction. I'm going to turn my paper because I'm much better drawing this way. And some of you complain because you have all these spiderweb lines in there, but this tells me I can't cross this line when I draw this light line, right? So this is going to be headed off somewhat parallel to that, but away from the vanishing point. It's going to get wider as it goes out. I want to go vertically to show the side of this one. This one I'm not going to see much of the side of because it's like right above the vanishing point. I could put another line in there for the side if I wanted to be accurate. But this one I'm actually going to see the side of the unit. So this part goes this way, and then this part is going to go horizontally. Now, if I want to make these things match up, look what I'm doing here now. If I take this line and I go straight across this way, then that's where my first little slat should be in the light. And then this should come horizontally across to make my second slat. It looks like my third slat's not actually even going to be seen on my page. Already I've got the back and the ceiling, and it looks like a room. So that's all good. I think there's actually a third light thing over here. I'm not going to worry about it. It would go off something like this if I decided I was going to put it in.